I'm fine, thank you very much. Oh man, it was well in California. We get that natural air conditioning from the coast, so it wasn't so bad for us. But I know that everyone else had a really hot summer. Well, the name of the song is the California Energy Blues, and I got the idea for it last winter when PG&E and Southern California Edison started to cut back on their electrical production, and they started crying about the cost of energy, oddly enough, and so they just decided to go bankrupt because they just couldn't afford to stay in business any longer, and not that they were such cowards, and at the same time asked for energy rate increases, which they subsequently got from the PUC. So I titled the song originally the PUC Blues, and but a lot of people don't know what the PUC is, so I retitled it the California Energy Blues. And that's and with the summer coming on, they were threatening blackouts in stages all over the state, and they had actually determined an acceptable number of deaths per rolling blackout, which I didn't bother to include in the song, but it did give me some impetus to write this little ditty. Well, that's what they say. Apparently, Bush and the administration took some heat, and they W's new administration, I should say, took some flack. And of course, Cheney said that we had to stand or sink, swim or sink on our own. And a couple of months, say now it's 6 months later after the crisis began. All of a sudden, there seems to be enough power. Prices of gas have started to go on down. Of course, when there's pressure like that, things are going to change because the truth is there always has been enough power, and the price of gas was deregulated, so they just took advantage of us. And I'm not going to say what state that was either. Several gas companies actually were involved. Well, thanks for asking. Yes, it's a wonderful group of second generation Beach Boys. I like to call them the sons and daughters of the Beach Boys. My sons Matthew and Adam Jardine are the cornerstones of the harmonies, and then I'm fortunate enough to have Carney and Wendy Wilson, Brian Wilson's daughters, that lend that beautiful their beautiful voices to the harmonies to fill out the Carl Wilson and Brian Wilson vocal ranges. I affectionately call it the gene pool. And I feel that we have the best representation of Beach Boy music in the country, and in that we have this wonderful family and friends together again. As a matter of fact, the album there is an album being released as we speak. It should be available on my .com, aljardine.com, and through my sponsor clipsh.com. And it's called appropriately Al Jardine Family and Friends live in Las Vegas because that's where it was recorded. And we took a couple of the best nights and put them together on one CD, and there's about 27 songs, including the Energy song or the California Energy Blues. So I think it's a rather nice package. By the way, Fred Klipsch, or I should say the Klipsch Company, is the manufacturer of the America's only remaining loudspeaker company, and they produce wonderful home stereo equipment, and they're helping me to produce and Al Jardine Family and Friends. So I'm very indebted to them, and that's why the product will be available on their website. We were high school students, Brian Wilson and I, and he had a group, and I had a folk group, and we met each other through our musical interests, obviously. And when we went to junior college together, Brian introduced me to his family. We got together at my mom's house next door to El Camino College, and auditioned for her, and she was able to come up with the money to rent the instruments, to go into the studio, and record our first single, and the rest is history. On October 3rd, 1961, I believe it was, Surfin was recorded, and it charted 75 on the national charts, and none of us knew how to play instruments, by the way. We rented them, but we had to learn how to play them. And Brian, because Brian didn't play the piano on the record, he played the drums with his index finger as the drumstick, because I forgot to rent drumsticks. And actually, Carl was taking guitar lessons at the time, but none of us were accomplished musicians, and I had to learn to play the stand-up bass. Well, I think I think it's remarkable that 40 years could have gone by. First of all, and I think the standout is that I was sitting yesterday afternoon in the living room of one of the four freshmen, interestingly enough, and we met at Carmel at KRML, our local jazz station here, the one that I believe appeared in Play Misty for me. I think that's where Eastwood was the disc jockey. And this gentleman, Greg Stegman is his name, played me some of the early freshman things, some of the unreleased and very difficult to get stuff. And he reminded me that he learned his freshman parts and was inspired by the Beach Boys as a young man, and went on to join the Four Freshmen. Of course, they started way back in the late 40s, so the original members aren't even around anymore. So they have second generation and third generation voices. But he was very kind, and it reminded me of how important the music was and what it means to him, and what it meant to us to be in such a fortunate position to be able to have a family like the Wilsons and the Jardines and the Loves come together and form this incredible band, and have Brian Wilson, of course, write these beautiful songs. So it meant an awful lot to us. At the time, we were so busy doing it, we didn't think about it because we were so busy touring and recording. But now, looking back, I can see how important the music really is. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. We went down there to do a surfing and a folk song and a Four Freshmen tune called Lavender. And Murray had left the country for Mexico, left some money for the guys to eat on, and basically there wasn't anything left to. Well, none of us owned any instruments, so I had to beseech my mother to lend us $300 to go down to Hogan's House of Music and get a bass fiddle, a stand-up bass and a snare drum. And so we took that and went down and did the session, took those instruments. That's a ton of money in those days, $300. It was like a month's wages for her, so she was scared to death. But I told her I'd bring it back. That was the first session. Then Murray came home and heard about it. Went, "Oh, I think I'll be your manager. Sounds like a good idea."